We never even ran an ad. We've never even run a TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram ad. We've hit seven figures, and we hit seven figures in the first 18 months.
Hello, listeners and viewers. Today we have Kate Assaraf, which is the founder of Deep, a hair care brand redefining beauty with plastic-free, salon-quality products and a mission beyond profit. Kate, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Great, great. I'm doing very well. Love to chat with you today about your brand and a lot of other important things that you do beyond that. But before we start, if you can share a few things that are important to you beyond work, right? I know you talk a lot about values and and it's importance of things beyond the day-to-day grind, right? So I'd love to share. It helps a lot, for our listeners to get to know our guests better.
Yeah, I think probably one of the most important things beyond work is making that time to spend at least 1 hour outside. I think
Mm,
you start to remember your place as a human being on this planet if you spend 1 hour outside without music. Just kind of listen to the sounds, take those deep breaths, notice what's around you, like how the light hits through the leaves, whatever it is. If you're by the ocean, like listen to the waves, the birds. I don't know. That's something I think that at the older I get, the more I see
mm,
people disconnected from nature. And I think if you just spent some time outside, that would be the and I don't mean it in a granola type way. I just mean it in like at the end of the day, we're still all mammals, we're animals. We have
yeah.
to spend some time sniffing the raw air, you know,
Yes.
and really remembering that we are so small on this giant spinning rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I mean, and specifically about nature. I don't know if you know that, but if you just go, between the trees, like in the woods, right?
Yeah.
There is no stress, right? There is
Yeah.
no anxiety. I mean, you're totally in a parasympathetic state, and it's just
Yeah.
beauty, right? So having this balance, like a 1 hour a day, I love it. Yeah, I try to do
Yeah.
it as
I
well. Yeah,
I run in the woods every single day, in all different seasons. So I like to see how the light changes at the different times of the year and how, just that I think it's magical to see the light shining through the trees and it
yes,
creates those beams that you see. I think a lot of people spend so much time they spend so much time inside and on their technology between spurts in nature. And I think we should try and flip that ratio.
yes. And it's not just unwind, right? It's just a matter of putting our brain in this default state mode,
Yeah.
right? Where all the innovation and brainstorming is really happening. And yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
My best
great.
ideas come to me in nature.
Yes, for sure. And there it makes a lot of sense. And really, thank you so much for sharing that. So, Kate, what was the exact moment that you realized that the beauty industry wasn't aligned with your values anymore?
I've been in the beauty industry about 20 years.
Yeah.
The moment probably was with one of my first beauty jobs where uh behind the scenes when I was young, I was in my early 20s, I was instructed to paint wrinkles onto someone so that on with a very light eyeliner so that they would show up darker on television.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then this person with this miraculous beauty product would come and wipe them away live on air. And
Wow.
in order and they would do, $1 million weekends and sales with this kind of deceptive marketing. And it made me feel so uncomfortable even from the very beginning. So, when you're young and you're idealistic, you're like, you go into a new job and you want to make those changes. You're like, hey, what if we tried to not do it this way? But really, for me, 20 years into the industry and seeing that type of example, like congruently repeated over and over, I knew I wanted to start my own thing and kind of blow the lid off that kind of marketing.
Mhm.
And I think our customers appreciate that.
Interesting. So what's the on the other side of the coin, right? How do you do your marketing?
So on so I was very slow growth these first 4 years. I only show actual paying customers and their experiences on our feed, which is
Hmm.
very, very unusual in beauty. In beauty, you tend to hire influencers, or they call them UGC creators, where they're non-customers talking about your product. But I think out of respect for our customers, we use real actual paying customers, someone that has looked at the landscape of our competitors and used their money to buy dip and have their own thoughts about dip. Because I think the whole process of buying something is emotional, right? You choose this versus that. And if they've chosen dip and love it and they want to be on our feed, that's how we source them. And so I don't need to lie or write scripts or do any of those things because it's real.
Yeah, it's obviously the best testimonial or
Yeah,
review, but not all customers are happy, sharing reviews or putting themselves in front of
right.
camera. You obviously
Yeah.
spend time, try to encourage them to do so, right?
Yeah, and I think people or customers or consumers in general are tired of being told to buy something from someone who clearly didn't buy it.
Mm,
I,
yes,
I don't know. I
yes.
think so.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And another bullet to this topic is obviously AI video, right? Which
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't use as well, right?
I don't use those. It's so tempting, right? Because it's so cheap and you can make sure that person says exactly what you want them to say, this avatar. I just can't bring myself to do it. But I'm watching all of my competitors do it. And I think it's going to end up being the downfall for many brands because once customers know that they've been sold a lie, even if they like the product, but if the lie is being sold and they find out, they get upset.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we currently in an era of fakeness, right?
Yeah.
And we don't believe anything, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, the new generation is fully obviously influenced by influencers, right?
Yeah.
But some of those influencers, I mean, it depends. Some of them are doing it in a really good balance and they check and they evaluate, even purchase the product. Some of
Hmm.
them, saw it's really working very, very well. So they spend all their day long just selling, right? So it just,
Right.
it's endorsed by someone, right? So it's not
Yeah.
authentic, right? And this is a way I think most of us are those interests.
And
Um,
I think it differs from category to category. 'Cause for me, it makes sense to see, you know, like for a swimsuit, a women's swimsuit, it makes sense to see it on a whole bunch of different body types in real
mhm.
life. But for hair care, it's so easy to dupe and will be duplicitous and really fake that the products gave this result. So, and same thing with skincare. Those two categories, I think you have to have actual paying customers. Whereas, if you're trying to sell like a hammer or something, the hammer is going to work the same for whether it's an influencer or um,
Yes.
just a customer already.
Yes, because what you're saying actually did the same product that worked in different ways on different skin types, people, even the skin itself, characteristics, and if it worked
Yeah.
for me, I can share my story, right, and probably it will
Right.
resonate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
what
I think it's category based.
category based? Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yes, CPG related, obviously. Um, so what do you think people are so addicted to fast beauty, and they know maybe it's not good for them?
Because it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. I
Yeah.
I grew up being a consumer, I grew up
Yeah.
thinking like I'm in my 40s now, but when I was growing up, the shopping was it was a social activity. It was fun to go buy things and you see something and you're like, it's exciting. There's, science shows that there's a dopamine hit, right?
Yeah.
When you buy something. So I think it's, the cheaper something is and the more you can buy of it, it's the more you feed that cycle. I
Hmm.
mean, you have to retrain yourself to get that same kind of thrill out of picking flowers. I don't know. You have to find out some other way to
Yeah.
satisfy that. But I think it's very easy if you're idle and sitting and in technology all day to keep buying.
Yeah, super interesting. Super interesting. So I think, I mean, one of the most important thing that probably influenced you is the sustainability, right?
Yeah.
Subject, which is very like commonly used, right? And consumers are bit on everything. Yeah, where sustainability is everywhere, right? It's kind
Yeah.
of what do you think is this? It's a big lie, right? So what sustainability is actually for you?
So sustainability is fluid and always changing. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that everyone has to understand. When I was growing up, in the name of sustainability, they switched paper bags at the supermarket for plastic bags to save the trees. So sustainability is not a hard line in the sand and it doesn't have a particular set of rules. I think what upsets me about sustainability in general is the people that assign very specific rules that end up excluding or alienating others. Like if
Hmm.
your only view of sustainability is being vegan, uh, I don't think that that's fair to the hunters out there that consume without any plastic. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so that just because someone has a different version of consuming less or being less in the that consumerist system, like I don't think that there's certain ways to behave that are more sustainable than others, um morality wise. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think what happens is you get well-meaning people hijacking pieces of sustainability and assigning morality to them in a way that hurts and alienates others from joining.
Yes.
So someone's like, "Oh, I'm not vegan, then I'm not sustainable, and so I might as well just eat the meat and might as well just kind of abandon um, the mission completely." And that's just one example. There's
Yes.
plenty of examples. Like, "Oh, you don't have the electric car. Oh, you don't have um, oh, you like to buy clothes, you can't be sustainable." So but there's I studied economics and math, and I think that there's a law of diminishing returns on how much you can berate someone before they're like, you know what, forget it, I don't want to be part of this anymore. And I
Exactly.
think that that's where we've landed. And so with dip, I try and make dip inclusive. It's fun. It's inviting. We all live here on Earth. We should all be invited to the party to to reduce our
Hmm.
consumption and especially plastic.
Yes. Yes. I mean, in those cases that you mentioned, it's probably a very good marketing from the brand side, right? Just protecting
Yeah,
the turf and just excluding everyone. If you're not doing this, it's not good, right? So,
yeah.
yeah, great.
It's no,
Sorry.
it's a tragedy that to me to see so many people feel excluded
Hmm.
because you know something as simple as making one or two small changes in your routine is worth it.
Yes. Yes. 100%. Kate, you talk a lot about unlearning corporate consumerism, right? What
Yeah.
does that actually mean, and specifically in real life, right?
So unlearning corporate consumerism is realizing that most urgency when it comes to products is false. That urgency of buy now or else you're going to lose the percentage off or any of those things. It's fake. None of
Mhm.
it is really matters. And so a good practice, I think, to absolve yourself of that guilt of impulse buying, because impulse buying, has that sustainability guilt attached to it, but it also has that personal guilt where what used to be money is now this thing that I don't care that much about once it
Mhm.
arrives. And so what I suggest in the practice I have is I keep something in a cart for maybe 1 to 2 months before I decide whether I want it. And it doesn't mean you don't want it. It just gives you that peace and that distance from the emotional urgency to purchase something. And it's not really meant to shame. Like this idea is not like shaming someone who really likes to impulse buy, but
Mhm.
I think we can all agree that money in your bank account is better than stuff. And so if you just slow it down a little bit, especially if you buy something kind of, in those late hours of the night, and then then it shows up and it's something you're going to return more often than not. If you just think that if I return this thing, it is most likely to go to a landfill and be garbage. And
Yes.
so it's not, if you just keep that in the back of your head before you add to cart and before you hit the purchase, like it helps. It helps to slow it down. That's sustainability in its own way. It's a small kind of half step that doesn't feel like a lot, but it actually is if you're someone who buys stuff and returns it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, these are just the fundamentals of online shopping, right? Having just
Right.
pushing this impulse purchase
Mhm.
kind of a behavior, right? Without, thinking too much about it, just being
Yeah.
something of an impulse. And I think, with TikTok shop and videos, and it's just the next level of impulse. It's just much more powerful and
Yeah.
right, playing with our brains, right? And it seems that
Mhm.
you are not a big fan of this marketing approach. And you took deep through seven figures, not
Mhm.
in Amazon, not online, but through brick and mortar and actually building up
Yep.
stores, right?
We never even ran an ad. We've never even
Wow.
run a TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram ad. We've hit seven figures, and we hit seven figures in the first 18 months. And the reason is because I really understand what it's like to be a sustainable customer and consumer, because I am one. I'm
Hmm.
not a marketer who's jumping on a trend. Like I think that there's a lot of marketers and private equity firms that saw this opportunity. Hey, look, people will pay more for sustainable things. Like, let's get it to market fast, fast, fast. That is the opposite of how we built Dip, and many of our competitors have closed their doors because they didn't understand the customer. Like, the
Yeah.
customer wants something that's better, that is better than what they already use, and that lasts a long time and saves them money, and that's what Dip does.
Interesting. But I mean, this is very, very rare, right? I mean, if you are a newcomer these days, digital
Mhm.
native is the way to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, retail is perceived as more finance heavy, more longer term. Tell us exactly how did you launch? I mean, what exactly did you do?
I launched in 2021, at the end of 2021, so we're still in the pandemic here. I
Mm-hmm.
called well, I know as a consumer of zero waste or plastic-free things that I shop in a refill store. So I, one by one, contacted refill stores and said, if this isn't the best shampoo and conditioner you've ever used, besides it just being bars, if it's not the best
Mm-hmm.
shampoo and conditioner you've ever used, then you don't need to hear from me again. But more often than not, they would take the samples. I had several people call me from their towel. They would call me from their towel and say, I cannot believe how beautiful the experience was of these bars. Because I care so much about hair and the plant. I knew they had to be so good in order to convert people and to keep people staying plastic free.
Mm-hmm.
So, our conditioner bar will last someone around a year. So if you're buying, repurchasing conditioner every month, as I was, and the conditioner I use is very expensive, or I used to use, it
Mm-hmm.
was about $50 to $70 a tube. It only lasted 1 month if I was lucky. The dip bar is $32. It saves that person, a person like me, $500 a year just in
Wow.
conditioner.
But
And
how?
so,
What's
regardless of whether you care about plastic, which I hope everyone does, but I don't think it's the primary reason people buy
no?
things, it's a win. It's a win for
Yeah.
you.
How we are saving $500 a month a year?
Yeah. So the shampoo is faster to consume. So that's the more repeat purchase. So the conditioner is a year. The shampoo, you maybe buy 2 to 4 of those a year. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're saving an astronomical amount of money if you're switching from really high end, beautiful stuff. And
Yeah.
you know, if you're a woman with high standards, or a man with high standards, 30% of our customers are men. That's important to you more than the plastic, unfortunately.
Amazing. So you knocked on doors, real physical brick and mortar
Yeah. Well, no one was
businesses.
doing it. So
Yeah.
no one was doing it that way. And I thought, okay, it's very hard to get anyone's attention on email during a pandemic. I'll call them. I'll knock on the doors. I traveled all over the United States. I went and met sustainable business owners, like retailers all over. Um, and now Dip is in all 50 states, retailed in all 50 states. And it's recognized in the refill and zero waste movement as the
Yes.
best.
Yes. And this is still the business model, right? The refill kind of thing, right? That's the
Well,
focus.
for me, so ours are off the shelf. So you purchase shampoo and conditioner off the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
But my thinking was, if I could get someone into a retailer that has other vetted substitutes for going plastic free, um, it was almost like the Target effect or the Walmart effect, where you go into a store for one thing and you end up with other things. That was the halo effect I wanted for dips. So someone would go in to buy shampoo and conditioner and then say, "Oh, you know what? I can replace my paper towels. I never have to buy paper towels again. I
Mm-hmm.
can replace my Ziploc bags and my Saran wrap and all these plastic pieces in my kitchen." So my thinking was bigger than shampoo and conditioner. I wanted people to embrace sustainability by finding their local hub that vetted products for them.
Yes. And obviously there is some kind of again sustainability and
Mhm.
right there is also an impact for someone buying locally versus buying online, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The return rate is lower, and as I
Mhm.
said, returns just end up, filling landfills. There's a face-to-face accountability between
Mhm.
buyer and seller, so that person at the store is trying to sell you something you love. It's different than a kind of ghost marketer drop shipping you something that they see trending. There's two different kinds of commerce there, and I think the face-to-face accountability and that trust you get with a store owner, that
Mhm.
if they buy something that they don't like, they can take back to you and say, hey, I don't I don't like this. It's very hard to get your money back online.
Yeah.
I think, if especially if in the age of AI, where you're thrown into AI hell loops, I call them, where you just can't get someone, a human, on the phone, you know?
Yes. I mean, it's really fascinating, right? I mean, so many companies are just trying to figure out what works, right? Online,
Mhm.
it's so competitive, and it's kind of a red ocean in a lot of categories, and
Yeah,
difficult to break through, right? So, and you're bringing a new perspective, which is probably, I think, very first inspiring. And I
thank
mean, a
you.
lot of founders are hearing this and just think, okay, what I can do to replicate this, or to try to figure out other ways to do things which are not the
Yeah.
traditional ways, right? So,
There's no fast forward, unfortunately.
yeah,
I'm pretty good at finding fast forward in systems, but there's no fast forward to really building the scaffolding on a company where it matters.
yes,
Unless you have a huge budget and you want to give free products out to everyone and hope that everyone loves them, which I've seen many companies crash and burn because of that.
yes,
It looks like it's everywhere because it's been gifted, and then you see, like, okay, there's a first layer of people that buy after that, and then they don't buy anymore. And so
yes,
I really wanted the scaffolding of my business. Like, I'm 4.5 years into business, and I'm only just going to start advertising soon. And that it was very intentional. I'm, like, very excited about the next phase where it's not built on theory and hopes. It's built on vetted products that people love and
yes,
that people continue to use. And some people have been using Dip for 2, 3, 4 years continuously. So it's actually driven the change that I wanted it to make.
yeah. So obviously your marketing cost was dramatically lower, but
Hmm.
probably you spend a lot of time trying to probably productize variety of flavors, or right
Hmm.
different product which fit local areas. Also, there was more
Yeah.
more investment on the product side of things, I assume.
Yeah. And we also give a lot of money away.
Yeah.
So we've given $50,000 to Surfrider, who protects the oceans, and also they send people to Congress to fight and change plastic laws. So
Hmm.
that's, like, the more effective than me trying to change people one by one about plastic. I support Surfrider, who supports surfers and they do tremendous work in ocean conservation. And just today we announced our partnership with the Great Lakes. So the Great Lakes in the United States are the most important waterway,
Hmm.
natural freshwater system, and we have committed just this year around $10,000 to the Great Lakes. And so I do, and I give money out left and right because I think it's the right thing to do as a business owner. So although our marketing costs are lower, our sponsorship costs and our nonprofit costs are high, because
Yes.
that was the whole point. I don't think you can save the world with shampoo and conditioner. You have to reinvest in the things that really matter to you.
Yes, interesting. And again, just to put things into perspective, again, by all reports probably that I've read in the last few months, I mean, retail is still 70 or 75% of overall consumer purchase, right? So in the US,
I
and
don't
out
know.
of this,
That's
probably,
that's surprising to me. I didn't know that.
yeah, I didn't know that. It's yeah, and retail is a single digit growth, maybe 5 or 6%.
Mhm.
E-commerce is probably 10 or 12%, just
Yeah.
eating, but it's only 20 to 25%, and probably 60% out of this online share is Amazon, Walmart, and a few others, right? So you're left probably with 15% of the overall, 10 to 15% of the overall market for online, and you
Yeah.
fight with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of brands out there, right, in
Mhm.
the same category. So it's not easy, right? It's a really red ocean, and it's I mean, if you're in beauty or skincare or hair or scalp care, right? These are
Mhm.
categories are usually overwhelmed by a lot of brands. So yeah,
Yeah.
retail is so important. And what's interesting is that Gen Z and even Gen Alpha, I mean, they go into the malls, they go into the brick and mortar stores, and they love to shop
Yeah.
there. It's kind of an
Well,
experience. uh,
I think that they have limited disposable income and they
Yeah.
have limited trust left in commerce. And
Yes.
that is a great pairing to get people back into stores.
Yeah. Great. So, I mean, Oprah named you as the best product for curly hair, right? And you're also
Yeah.
recognized by Forbes and New Jersey Mompreneur of the Year. How all these, accolades help you in the business? I mean, the years.
You know, people aren't as impressed by anything as they used to be. So, so
All right.
and
Yeah.
I think that that erosion of trust also comes from finding out that many awards are paid for, but
Mm,
we've never paid for any of them. All of our awards are genuine, but even when you find like there's so many
yeah.
awards in beauty specifically that are pay to play. We haven't entered any of those pageants, and we still keep winning things. And that is a testament to people finding our products and sharing them, and then they get into like the editor's hands on their own,
Yeah.
which is really cool, to be honest.
Yes. Got it. Got it. So, Kate, you shared a lot of things that are like important to you, or just things that are, I mean, part of what you do beyond work. So, I mean, just sticking with all these principles obviously wasn't easy. Can you share a few examples of like hard decision you had to take, right, during the
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the hardest things was, I launched in October of 2021. By the end of 2022, I had a contract manufacturer who made the bars exclusively for me. And they didn't make bars for any other brand. That contract manufacturer went bankrupt.
Wow.
And so I was left with, what do you do now? Do you take your very specially formulated bars and bring them to another contract manufacturer
Hmm.
where they can change the formula 95% and sell it
Yes.
to like L'Oreal or any of these other big beauty brands? Or the other decision or other road was, do I build my own factory? And so the hardest decision I ever made, I toiled with it. It kept me up all night. I didn't know what to do. And the clock was ticking. I was running out of inventory.
Sure.
Meanwhile, like, I had to come up with a plan. And so the plan was, we found a building. We started with the help of, the people that work for me now. We have our own factory. We had to do all of all of the thing. I had to learn how to be a factory owner. We took some of the displaced workers who lost their jobs with the bankruptcy, brought them over, and now we are vertically integrated. And that
Wow.
that was very, very scary at the time. And now it's the best decision I ever made. Of all my decisions, that is my
Amazing.
favorite.
So you are the manufacturer as well, not just
The manufacturer, and I also fulfill from my own building, my own warehouse. So
Mhm.
I don't have to endure the 3PL costs or the upcharges on from a contract manufacturer.
Yes.
It's and I have a team that I really, really love, and they've been working for me since the beginning, and they know each other really well. It's just a great dynamic.
Wow, super interesting. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And looking ahead, I mean, to the future of beauty or retail or manufacturing of beauty products in general, what are your tips? I mean, for founders, I mean, and how they can follow your model.
So my tip is to not look for shortcuts. The shortcuts will come eventually. And so in the beginning, you have to do the work that everyone wants to skip. And the work to me is making sure that you understand your customer, you understand the pain point you're trying to solve, and then you craft your products to that. It's different than creating a product first and then trying to like find the right customer. I think it's more important that you really, really figure out that problem solution and that avatar that you
Hmm?
want to capture and what the real pain point is. There's really no point in launching another beauty product that is the same as every other beauty product. If it doesn't have a point, then I don't think you should launch because I mean, we don't need more beauty products.
Yes.
It doesn't do something new.
Yeah, interesting. So, Kate, if someone asks you what are the three most important things about dip and why people will buy dip, what would be those answers?
Okay. The number one is that we support local commerce. So wherever you live, we're there to support it. And as a brand, we've redirected instead of me capturing the higher margin sale, we've redirected over $5 million into local economies. And that is the number one thing I think you should know about our company. Two, that we've never had to run an ad and we've sold over 300,000 bars just by word of mouth. And so it's great. And
Amazing.
the third thing is that it will save you a lot of money. So if you have been like I don't want to say a slave, or if you've been like really marketed to for these higher end plastic bottled hair care items, you can save a lot of money with dip and have the same effect on your hair.
Nice, nice. So, if people want to try it, to buy it, where you would redirect them?
Sure. Go to dipalready.com and you can shop on our site or check the store locator at the top, and that will
Mhm.
pull the store closest or salon closest to you. And then if you want to, dig a bit deeper, there's a lot of information on the site, or you can go to @dipalready on Instagram or TikTok, and there's more.
Nice, nice. And do you know how much of your sales comes from this journey, starting online and pick up in store?
How many like total in
Yeah, I mean, like
revenue?
in a percentage or something, or can you attribute that sale to an
Oh, so
online discovery or?
So around 60% of our sales are done in store.
Hmm.
And so and we encourage people, even if they buy their first they want to take advantage of our return policy because they're
Mhm.
scared of whether the hair care is going to work or not. The first purchase is done online, and then the subsequent purchases, we encourage you to shop in store and support local.
Amazing, amazing, great, Kate. Anything else you want to add?
No, I honestly, I'm thankful to be here. Thank you for taking an interest in my little counterculture company, and I know I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, that's a great summary, and really love the journey and your perspective to business and to beauty sector specifically. Thank you so much.
Thank you.